Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today, man, we're going to be taking a look at the newest TikTok condition, okay? That's what I like to call these little developments, right? Basically, it's like Gen Zers, basically, like, kind of realizing that the world actually isn't all built for them. And, like, when they finally have to face reality for once, and they have to, like, go out into the real world and behave like a normal human being, it turns out that, like, a pretty good portion of us are pretty ill-equipped to do that. It's actually really unfortunate issue, man. In some ways, I feel like our parent generation kind of failed us, because you see videos like this all the time, and you hear people in our generation all the time who just have no understanding of, like, a work ethic or, like, showing up on time, and, like, I get it, right? A lot of these jobs, they don't respect their workers. They don't respect the people who show up. Why should you respect them? Why should you respect your boss? I get that, but I don't understand why so many people, right, in my generation are like this. I don't know. That's the best way I can explain it. Are like this, man. So it's just honestly kind of pathetic, though. Like how people, it seems like, are just trying to find new ways to just not show up to work, like not be productive members of society. I get it. Like a lot of these jobs suck and they're not fun to go to, but like, bro, that's just the reality of life. I hate to tell that to so many people. That's the reality of life. Like, before I did YouTube, when I was in a back of a fucking pizza parlor that was 95 degrees constantly, sweating my nuts off for $8 an hour, making pizzas, did you think that I was like having the greatest time of my life? Absolutely not. That was some of the most important developmental time of my life because it taught me work ethic, it taught me structure in life, it taught me respect for authority even when the authority is not necessarily deserving of respect. And these have all been very important principles that I've carried into life all these years later, right? And it feels to me, man, like so many kids were raised now to like not care about these kinds of principles, to not care about these kinds of things. So I don't know, I'll stop sounding like a fucking boomer now. Anyway, we're taking a look today at a TikToker who is complaining about, quote, time blindness. Yeah, time blindness, okay? So apparently this is some sort of like new issue or like disability or something going on. I don't know. Basically the premise is, right, like let's say you got a job and you got to show up at 9 a.m., right? But unfortunately, you suffer from time blindness, right? You suffer from this new condition that makes it impossible for you to show up at 9 o'clock like you're scheduled to show up for work. And so now people are needing accommodations, quote unquote, for these types of situations. Yeah, so people who can't show up on time for work now need some sort of, yeah, fucking, I don't know, man. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at this and talk about it.
So I just got yelled at for asking a very reasonable question. So I'm applying to go somewhere, and I just wanted to know, are there accommodations for people who struggle with time blindness and being on time, you know? And then the person I was with interrupted and acted like I was asking something else, and then when we were done, they actually started yelling at me and saying that accommodations for time blindness doesn't exist, and if you struggle with being on time, you'll never be able to get a job.
Alright, so no lies detected there, right? I don't think that this is a, like, controversial subject. I don't think this is, like, some sort of mind-blowing concept that people are just getting a hold of now. But yeah, it does turn out that when you're hired by an employer and you're being paid money, like a salary or hourly wage, to show up and do a job, if you don't show up and do your job efficiently and on time, you will probably not be a hireable person. Wow, that's a fucking mind-blowing concept, man. That's a real fucking shocker there. It's said with like such confidence too. That's what's crazy. Like she says this with the confidence that like everyone's gonna be like, oh man, how dare the employer request that she show up to her fucking job on time. Now, I've been an employer before, you know, I've had, you know, that kind of situation with my YouTube, of course, so it's a little different because people didn't show up physically, but there was a period of time where like people did have to be online and doing work by a certain point in the day, right? They had a time that they needed to be at work. It's really not that hard to just show up to your fucking job on time. Now, I'm one of them type of people, I'm a little bit more understanding, I feel like, than some people, right? Now, if you're walking an hour to work 6 miles a day or something, and you're 15 minutes late to work, as an employer, I'd probably be a little bit more sympathetic. I wouldn't be that mad, right? If every single day you're coming in at 10:45 when you're supposed to be there at 9 and you're like, oops, I suffer from time blindness, do you have any accommodations? Your ass would be unemployed. You would be fucking jobless. And deservedly so. And I like how she like makes it out as if like her being critiqued or like clowned almost for saying this is like fucking mind-blowing.
You know, provided you're trying your absolute best to be there. And then they're like, your stupid generation wants to destroy the workplace.
Yeah, and that's the problem. People like you give my generation a complete shit rap because you can't function like a fucking human being. And that's what's so annoying about being part of this generation. That's what's so annoying about being considered Gen Z. I'm one of the oldest members of Gen Z possible, right? I was born right at the turn of the fucking millennium. I'm literally like a few years / months based on some descriptions away from being considered like a millennial or whatever, right? So it's so constantly obnoxious, like having older people be like, oh, your generation doesn't understand hard work or effort. Nah, it's not all of us. It's people like this who make up shit like time blindness to pretend that they're fucking oppressed in some way. That's the problem with my generation, is everybody has to be a victim. Everybody has to be oppressed. Everybody has to, be counted against somehow, right? No matter how privileged these people grew up, no matter how easy these people have had life their entire fucking lives, they have to find something to make themselves a victim with, right? Now, I already know some people make the argument, oh, well, people with ADD and ADHD and sensory issues like that and whatnot, they will have problems with things like this. Really, they do. That's crazy because it's almost like they make fucking medication to treat issues like that. It's almost like there's treatments for these kinds of problems where people have issues with, paying attention and like being on time and, routines and whatnot. It's almost like you can go have that issue corrected in some way or treated in some way. And let's just call it for what it is here. Showing up on time to work is not something that is founded upon by whether or not you have ADD or ADHD, right? There are tens of millions of people who deal with these problems who show up to work on time every fucking day. It's really not that hard to set an alarm on your phone. Like, dude, we live in 2023. Pick your fucking iPhone up that you're using to film this stupid TikTok with. Go to the clock app that is free and installed on every single phone and go to that little thing called the alarm section, right? So from here, what you do is you press that button and whenever you set a time input for it, it gives you an alarm that like alerts you at that time to do some shit, right? So let's say, you gotta be at work at 9. How about at about 7:30, you set an alarm to wake up, you get up, you take a shower, you brush your fucking teeth, you brush your hair, you get your work uniform on, and you take your ass to work. It's really not that fucking hard. It's not that difficult. I struggle from time blindness. I'm unable to show up on time. No, you're just privileged and nobody in your life has ever given you enough fucking pushback and you've never actually been forced to be an adult. That's the problem at hand. It has nothing to do with ADHD, ADD, any sort of issue like that. These things are fixable, right? It's almost like for, hundreds of years, people have been able to make routines in their lives, right? People have been able to figure this out. So I'm sorry, but spare me the tears and the boo-hooing about how you're the only person on planet Earth who suffers from this made-up fake condition that you or some other idiot on the internet made up so you can excuse yourself for being a non-productive person in society.
And yeah, I think that a culture where workers are just cut off because they struggle with being on time, when there's other solutions that we can look to, I think that just anybody who thinks it's okay to just treat people like that, yeah, that culture needs to be dismantled.
Yeah, that culture needs to be dismantled where the people who pay your salary expect you to show up on time. That culture needs to be dismantled where, the people who pay your fucking bills for you when you work expect you to do the job that they hired you to do. Yeah, that's crazy. I can't believe that we live in a society, right, where people get fired for not showing up to their jobs on time all the time. That's a real horrible society to live in. It just like you hear shit like this and it makes you think, how would this person like survive or behave if they had to live in North Korea, or if they had to live in fucking China, or if they had to live in Iran, or if they had to live in anywhere in the fucking Middle East, right? Like there are actual places on Earth, right, where this woman could not appear in public without her entire face being covered, or else she would be fucking sexually assaulted, she'd have rocks thrown at her, she'd be fucking arrested by the police. There's places on Earth where if this woman didn't worship the supreme dictator when she woke up, on the poster on her wall, the fucking government would come and round her and her whole family up and put them in a fucking work camp and make them break rocks for 18 hours a day with a pickaxe. But she has the gumption to get on her fucking $1,000 phone that someone else probably paid for, by the way, in her air-conditioned, comfortable home or apartment with decorations, 3 square fucking meals a day, hot and ready, entertainment at her disposal, etc. She has the gumption to complain that in that society, in that life, she has to actually go to work on time. I don't know if you can honestly fix people like this, man. I don't know if you can repair this kind of like fucking mental deficiency, I guess. These people have no idea how the real world works. These people have no idea how society functions. Imagine if everybody in the world could just say every day, oh, I struggle from time blindness. I can't show up for work on time. Imagine if the president of the United States just, got to lay in bed all day. I suffer from time blindness. I can't deal with all of the world's problems today. Or like, all the doctors that are saving people's lives in the ER right now. We're just like, oh, well, I struggle from time blindness. Fuck the fact that 6-year-old has brain cancer over there. I can't make it into work on time today because I'm just not really feeling it. I'm feeling more of a dismantle the system. And it's always funny, you hear these kinds of people online talking about, oh, we need to dismantle the system, bro. We need to take the fucking system down, man. None of you know shit about tearing anything down or building anything. None of you know anything about anything you're fucking talking about. You can't show up to work at McDonald's on time because you suffer from, quote, time blindness, and to the point where you're crying about it on TikTok, but I'm supposed to be afraid that you and all the other people who can't fucking be bothered to roll out of bed on time, I'm supposed to be worried that you're gonna dismantle the system, you're gonna tear down the oppressive system, man. Shut the fuck up, dude. It's so cringe. Like, it's so embarrassing. Imagine being like this person's parents and just hearing this kind of stupid shit and realizing, wow, we had 18 plus years to develop this person, and this is what they do. This is the outcome of all of our fucking years of labor. Or I should say all of our years of non-action, but...
And then I asked that person, how can you feel good about yourself upholding this kind of system? And then to think, I'm entitled. No, if people think it's okay to treat others like this, that's entitlement.
Yeah, it's entitlement to expect the person you're paying fucking $150 or whatever a day, depending on the job. Of course, a lot of people make less than that, but just for the sake of fuck it, we'll say it doesn't matter the amount. The person you're paying every day, right? It's entitlement to expect them to show up on time. That's what the new generation believes. You as an employer are too entitled if you expect the person you paid to come to work on time. They're not the entitled ones for expecting the entire world to fucking stop and revolve around them and behave completely around their whims and whatever fake disease that they've come up with today to become oppressed with, right? They're not the entitled ones. It's you, the person who built this company and, fucking runs this whole place that pays their salary, right? You're the problem. How can you feel good about yourself upholding this kind of system? If I was in this position, I'd be at home sawing logs every night, man. I'd be getting 10 hours of sleep. Fuck 8. I'd have 10 thinking about having to fire somebody like this, man. I know I might have sounded mean or harsh in this video, but this is the true wake-up call that too many people like this fucking need. Because their entire lives, they've been coddled. Oh, sweetheart, it's okay if you don't want to fucking work today. It's okay, sweetheart, if you don't want to, do anything productive in society. You want to sit around on your fucking Nintendo Switch all day in your underwear because you have time blindness. That's okay, sweetheart. You go ahead and do that. That's the problem. That's what these people have been dealing with for too fucking long. And now that they're in the real world where results are expected of them and they have to actually produce and contribute, all of a sudden they don't know what to do. Anyway, with that being said, man, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubTheOptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. Thank you to my Watch Optimus subscribers. Your support helps the channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, suffering from time blindness, and signing out.